Hey, so let's talk about Baizhu and what I want him to be / what I think he's going to be. So, Baizhu is a Dendro character, one of the few Dendro characters that we know of. There might actually only be 2. But regardless, he is the owner of the Boo Boo Pharmacy and presumably a doctor. From the very little dialogue we have of him, we can infer that he's kind of crazy. The man might be an extortionist, which is apt considering he works in a pharmacy. There's this piece of dialogue that just implies he's a nutcase. However, his relationship with Chi-Chi could be like a good relationship because he would do anything for her, more or less. Like when Child is like, well, what if I give you a bunch of coconut milk? And then Chi-Chi's like, Coco Goat. And then Baiju's like, okay. So I don't know, maybe he's a good guy and maybe he's a psycho. I'm leaning towards the psycho, so I hope that when he comes out, he has some kind of redeeming quality because I want to like him. Like Child, that man is a psychopath. But he's a psychopath that doesn't know how to use chopsticks. So he's a good guy as far as I'm concerned. Like, they made Child likable because they gave him humanity, so I hope they do something similar with Baizhu. Anyway, introductions out of the way, let's talk about his weapon. As far as I know, nothing about him is confirmed or data mined, so this is an open field. So before we talk about anything, let's talk about this image. I believe that the design choice for Baizhu is heavily influenced by this image. I believe this is called the Caduceus symbol, which is a staff that's being coiled by 2 snakes. As far as I know, the snakes were supposed to be a symbol of wisdom and medicine. When you got touched by the snake, you got healed or something like that. I might be wrong, I probably am, but as far as I know, that's what it is. So we're going to be using this image as our reference for like everything. So the snakes are wrapped around a staff, and staves are generally magic-based weapon. The only magic-based weapon we have in Genshin is a tome, the Catalyst. Here's the thing. A long time ago we got this promotional art which features a girl with Chi-Chi. This girl was data mined to be another Dendro character. The thing is, she was data mined to be a tome user. Now, none of this is absolute, they could change her weapon if they wanted to, so we're not going to get into that, but allegedly, she's going to be a tome. So henceforth, we're saying that she's a tome. Since we only know of 2 Dendro characters so far, I don't think that both of them are going to be tome users, so then we look at staves again. Staves are generally ranged weapons. What's the only other ranged weapon we have in Genshin? A bow. There's a good chance that he could be a bow, but I just think that bows are so boring. Pretty much every single bow that we have is a support, and Dendro feels like a supportive element, so I want something different. Of the 3 remaining weapons, the one that has the most range would be the lance / polearm, or whatever they call it in this game. They honestly call it everything. I can really see him being a bow, unfortunately, but I'm going to assume that he's going to be a lance. Which is also kind of unlikely because we have gotten so many lances recently. We just got Zhongli a while ago, Xiao is coming up. He's probably already out at this point. And then Hu Tao is allegedly a pyro lance user, so putting another lance into the mix is probably not likely, but whatever. Okay, so now we're saying that he's going to be a lance. One thing that I really hope MiHoYo ends up doing is using the snake that he has in his attacks in some way, either through his basic attack chain or his elemental skill. I personally wanted to be in his basic attack, so I actually made a model of him in Blender, or Microsoft Paint. So here he is. Starting from the left is going to be his first attack. They're just the generic lance movements. And then here on the third one, he uses his snake to attack. It could be like a lunge where the snake just kind of like jumps forward, or it could be like a sweeping motion along the ground, and this could stagger the enemy. Alternatively, the snake could be the last attack, where instead of thrusting the lance forward, the snake does it instead. If we're not going to have the snake in his basic attack, we would put it in his elemental skill, where he would throw the snake forward so that she can bite the enemy, or like a small AoE of enemies. It would look really similar to Lucas from Smash, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, right? As for what he actually does, I was thinking about giving him Life Drain. Life Drain is currently not something that's in this game. The only thing that comes close is Chi-Chi, where she marks the enemy and you heal whenever you damage them. So, since Baizhu is close to Chi-Chi lore-wise, I think them having similar kits makes sense, and like what we talked about earlier, Baizhu might just end up being a psychopath. So harming others to heal yourself seems pretty on brand for that. So going back to his elemental skill, there's 2 ways to go about this. The snake could mark the enemy like Chi-Chi, and whenever you damage them you heal, or what I think is better is that the snake quote-unquote poisons the enemy, and they take damage over time. Based on the damage that this deals, your current active party member will get healed. So this kind of works with the reference image that we were talking about earlier, where if you touch the snake, you would get healed, except we're the ones getting healed. His ult would be a similar fashion with Life Drain. He would send out an AoE with Dendro auras similar to Diona, where enemies within the AoE take damage over time, Like, intangible plants would come up from the ground to ensnare the enemy and, like, sucks the life out of them. Based on the damage that this deals, everyone in your party would be healed by that amount. So basically, his entire kit would revolve around life drain. Like, I damage others to heal myself. Now, this would change depending on if he is a 4-star or a 5-star, because Diona only heals active party members with her ult, and she's a 4-star. So if Baizhu was a 5-star, I could see his ult healing everyone, even if they're not on the field. Here's the thing. Remember that Dendro lolly that we saw? I could very well see her being a 5-star just because MiHoYo knows that they can make money off of lollies. It sucks, but it's true. So I don't think that both of them would be 5-stars, especially because I want to see more 4-stars in the game. So as I would love Baizhu to be a 5-star, I could definitely see him being a 4-star. We'll keep his kit the way that it is because I think it's pretty interesting and I would like to see something like that in game. Let me know what you think. Do you like it? Do you think it sucks? What do you want Baizhu to be? Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one where we talk about Zhongli post-buff. His playstyle is definitely going to change, so we'll see what he's like from a free-to-play perspective as usual after I play around with him for a couple of days. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye!